join the ranks of the top 2%. There's so many things that we could talk about. We could talk about prospecting, we could talk about recruiting, we could talk about team building, we could talk about conflict resolution, right? We could talk about all these different things, but there's one thing in particular that if we just had to pick one out of everything, it really boils down to this one thing. So it has been talked about by many, many thought leaders. Brendon Burchard talked about it in his coaching program called The Top 2%. We have John Maxwell, 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. He talks about it. It's law number 5, giving you some hints. We also have Jeff Olson. Maybe you know this gentleman, great leader in our space. He wrote a book called The Slight Edge. He talks about it in this book. And last off, we have Darren Hardy with The Compound Effect, also talking about the very same thing. So what is this miraculous thing that has helped so many people go from not knowing much, not ever doing anything in this, and getting to the very top of their company, getting to the type of person that is literally in the top 1 or 2% of income earners in the entire country? What is that one thing? If we had to boil it down to just one thing, that would be your habits. Habits plus time equals results in your life. Habits are the cords that either weave the fabric of your life, and with them, you create the most beautiful tapestry. You create a work of art out of your life. Like, people would look and be like, man, that looks good, right? Or they can be the things that weave you with ropes and actually bind you up. So habits plus time equals results. Now, let's talk about how this may play out in your life. And we'll talk life and we'll just talk business in general. So here's how this works. Here we are. This is good up here, and this is bad, okay? And then what do we have? Well, we have time, right? Time is going to keep on ticking with or without us. Whether we consent or not, time is going to continue to fly. So here's what happens. Habits plus time equals results. We may have habits, little things that we do. Like, you're out there and you're like, man, okay, my goal is to get into those jeans from high school, right? You're like, okay, I know I have a goal, but I know it's late at night and the pie is calling my name, and you'll wander into the kitchen. Now that might be fine one time, right? One time, fine. So one time is totally cool, but when we do it over and over again, what happens is, instead of going positive and having great things happen, well, we have a very solid downward slope. It's not good. It's not what we're looking for. If, on the other hand, we're like, hey, you know what? I have a dream. I have a goal. I got my tennis shoes out. And you know what? I'm going to wake up and roll right on into the shoes. I know what my plan is. I know what I'm going for. And I'm going to do little things every day. Little things every day that are going to make a difference. You would be amazed at the kind of results that you would see in your life. A little bit here, a little bit here. Have you seen someone that maybe is in this exact scenario? Maybe they're out there and they start jogging. And you know what? They're not moving very fast. They're breathing hard. They're sweating like crazy, right? And they're out there and they're doing their thing. But you know what? You see them 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 12 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now. Before you know it, they're out there with their shirt off if they're a guy, or the girl, they're out there in their little jogging suit and they're looking so fly. And you know what? Before you know it, they're running marathons and they're doing crazy stuff. Why? Because it was the little daily disciplines that helped them get to the finish line. It was the little things repeated over time that helped them get to their goal. Now, let's apply it. Let's bring this home to our business. How do you get to the top 2% in your company? Well, there's little things that you got to do every single day. Prospecting. Who are we talking to about our business? Think about it. If you were a chiropractor, if you were an attorney, if you ran a hair salon, whatever the case may be, if you did something and every day you were not talking to people about your business, how long would it take before that business is gone, right? Like, it's going this way very fast, right? It's going to close down, right? It would take no time at all. It would be ludicrous to think somebody would open up a shop like that or a practice like that and not talk to people all the time, right? But what happens with us in network marketing? We pay our money to get started. We sign the agreement and we're like, okay. And then what happens? Sometimes people do this, and where do they go? they go to the top 2%. And sometimes they like do a little here, do a little here, do a little here, do a little there. And then we look and we're like, man, 6 months have passed, 1 year has passed, all different times have passed. And then people are like, hey, I'm not on my dreams and goals. It's because your daily disciplines are the keys that will make you or they will break you, right? Jim Rohn says success is a few daily disciplines repeated all the time. And he says failure is a few errors in judgment, right? Like, are we going for the Hershey bar a day or the apple a day? Are we doing the contacting every day? Or are we saying, let me wander over to the TV. You know what I mean? If you're seeing, just by hearing this, like, you probably knew habits were like, hey, habits are important. We know habits are great. But what is going to make or break you, my friend? Habits. Now you might be wondering, okay, habits are cool. I know I got to be consistent, but how do I start applying some things in my life? Like, I know I want to do better. I know I want more. I know I want to win on a regular basis. So what do we need to do? So let's talk about 3 simple steps that you can apply in your life. Let's bring this puppy home, land this airplane. What can you do to get to the top 2%? Like, that's a good question, right? How are we going to get there? We know habits are going to be the key, but how are we going to get there? So the first thing is, number 1, you got to identify your goals. Like, if you are not crystal clear on what you want to accomplish in your life, then you're going to just wander down the road that wherever you may go is wherever you may go. So you got to get super crystal clear. What do you want? When do you want it by? A goal is a level in our business, in the business of network marketing, with a date attached to it. What do you want to see happen in your life? What rank do you want to be at? What income do you want to see? Where will you be at? So get really, 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 really clear. Okay, so we got that down, right? Number 1. Number 2, just think about this. I believe that you have all things that pertain to life and godliness. That's what the Bible says. So you already have the answer inside of you. So here's the question. If you know your goal and you're super clear on it, what do you need to do to get there? What if you had to nail it down to a couple of daily things? What would those daily things be? Perhaps, just a thought. How many people are we talking to every day about our business? Are we communicating with our team? Obviously, we're going to be growing a team, right? What are we doing for personal development? Things like that are essential to growing our business. And oftentimes people will be like, oh, I have some people, but maybe they're not moving as fast as I want. But, I really want to get to my goal. Hey, get another one. Go get someone else to work with. You got to run with the runners, walk with the walkers, and love on the people that just came for the cookies and the coffee. It's okay. But identify, get real clear on your goal, and then think about, you know deep down in your heart, hey, I'm going to get this thing done. What is it going to take on a daily basis? Because if we know, just like compound interest, just like putting your money, into play like Warren Buffett does and all the great investors, if we know that your habits are going to compound in your life like a snowball effect, what habits do we need to have to get you to your goal? Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3, now that we know what we want, we know the habits we got to do, let's talk about how are we going to fit them in our life. This is really important. How are we going to fit them in our life? We all get up every morning and hopefully we all brush our teeth, right? It's fit in our life. We know when we're going to do it. We know how we're going to do it. We know what we're going to do. If you have a workout regime, you have that scheduled in your time slot. So if now you know your goal, you know what it takes to get to the goal, when are you going to do it? If you say, hey, you know what? I'm working full time. I got kids at home. I got volunteering at church. I got all this stuff going on. When are you going to do it? Maybe you're going to pencil out, hey, the drive to work. I'm going to be making calls. I'm going to be, sending voicemails on my Facebook. What are we going to do that's going to pencil that time in? Maybe it's your lunch hour. Maybe it's afterwards. Maybe it's, hey, every Saturday and Sunday, I'm going to, put aside this amount of time for me to build my business. Jim Rohn always talks about it, 9 to 5, you make a living, and that's great. That's fine, right? But what's super fine is when you work on your fortune. And that is what network marketing can give you the power to achieve in your life. Great financial dependence, traveling the world, doing what it is that you want, with whom you want, in the fashion that you want to do it with. So those are the thoughts on what it's going to take to get you into the top 2%. Now, if you're at a time in your life and you're like, you know what? I know these things. I need to start doing these things. but I've got some things from the past that have maybe been holding me back, or, I got some other things I got to work through. I have an extra resource that will help you. And it is the 10-step process for finally rank advancing. It will help you clear out some of the things that maybe have been a weight around your ankle, right? They've been something that's kind of been holding you back from where you really want to go, what you really want to see happen in your life. And it will help add some additional areas where you can dial down and focus in on what you want to see happen. So how do you get it? Well, if you click on the link that's listed here in the description, that'll take you to a spot, enter your name and email, and you will get immediate access to that special bonus training. If this is something that added some value to you, if it made a difference in your life, if you're like, hey, I need to take those 3 things and start going through them, right? I need to get clear. I need to start, identifying what I would need to do and then pencil it in on my schedule. Or if maybe this was like a new concept and you're like, hey, I heard about habits, but I didn't know all these thought leaders had been talking about it, whatever the case may be. And definitely feel free to share, tag a friend, pass it along to the people in your team, because could you just imagine, could you catch the vision if everybody got super clear on their goals, they dialed in on what those daily disciplines would be, and they actually scheduled it in their calendar? What would happen if everybody in your team did that? It could be big. It could be really big, right? All right, guys, so that is it for tonight. Take care, be blessed, feel free to share the replay, and I will see y'all next time. For more great training and to receive your free bonus training, the 10-step process for getting out of your own way and finally rank advancing, visit summergeronimo.com.